Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and it's time for an edition of No Capes, where I talk about comic books that don't have to do with superheroes. This is for books for the week of June 11, 2014. In no particular order, let's talk some comics. Shudder, issue number 3. I'm enjoying this book. I love the art in it. The character and the whimsy of it, I really enjoy. Every page has got some other bizarre animalmorphic kind of person or robot or talking clock or something that just to keep your mind really busy with all the different types of characters and personalities that are in the book. I love the paneling of it, the pace of it as far as that stuff goes. I really enjoy. The downside for this book for me, and I'm thinking it's going to be for a lot of other people, so I'm worried, is we aren't getting a lot of story yet as far as like a why. Where is it going? You know, we've got this main character. She obviously is some sort of photography superstar at some point. And we're getting little bits and pieces. In this one, we get a chunk of history of her, of her best friend who saves her from this explosion. In this one, she's being hunted. We've kind of been told she's being hunted by her siblings. And we kind of get the impression that maybe she didn't even know she had siblings. And she ends up going back to the old family house. And at the old family house, the butler, who is a skeleton, seems to already know all of this stuff. So there's some intrigue and whatnot. I just wonder if they're not giving us enough, or the dangle is too far away to get super excited about as far as the actual story itself. Plus, we get this kind of offshoot story of this bounty hunter cat type person who rides a triceratops, which that all sounds really cool. I mean, like I said, the stuff that's going on is really cool. I just don't know. You know, at some point they're gonna have to give us more story. A why? Why? You know, what's the purpose? Why do we be interested in this girl beyond just look to see what the crazy thing is that happens next? I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of other people talking about this book now, but I haven't checked out people's videos yet, so I'm gonna have to get on, like, check out Wednesday Serial. I know he was a big fan of the first issues of this, to see if he's reading it, what he has to say, if I'm way off base, if I'm missing something there. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm just worried that we're not getting enough of a reason for us to be sitting here reading it, other than to look at the crazy people that are on it, which I enjoy. I mean, I'll keep reading for that, because little things make me enjoy the book. For us as a larger population, are we getting enough of a story? Anyway, Abe Sapien, issue number 13 at the top there, it says starting point for a new reader. And I know some new readers who started with this. Boy, this is misleading, because I don't think this is a good starting point. It's the beginning of a new arc. So yes, jump on for that reason. That makes sense. This will be the beginning of a trade or whatever, however you want to look at it. But if you don't know, first off, if you don't know the Hellboy universe, this isn't a good starting point, because you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know if the world's come completely apart. And Abe Sapien's wandering across the countryside, trying to figure out who he is and where is his place in the world. Is he part of this new generation? He doesn't believe he is, but he's somewhere in the back of his head. It's still this kind of inking, this creeping feeling, and he feels like he needs to prove that or find out who he is, why he is what he is, so he can separate himself from the end of the world and the monsters that are appearing and whatnot. Great story, riveting story here. He's rescued a woman in the last issue. That woman's with her. She's got all kinds of issues. They've met up with another couple who have a child who is slowly changing, morphing into one of these monstrous things. If you get hit with this gas that comes out of the Earth's crust, it alters humans into big giant monsters that continue to destroy and wreck things and whatnot. And with like horse tranquilizers, they've seemingly slowed the growth down of this thing. They come to a prophet in this issue to try and supposedly going to heal them, and they have problems and cause all kinds of things going on. Great. Interested to see what's next. I really like Abe Sapien as a character and as a person. I'm enjoying his long journey of soul searching, trying to figure out who he is and why he is what he is. It feels like in this issue he's getting a little more gumption to now start moving forward with what's his place. But really what it is it's kind of like him wandering across the United States, trying to find himself, and then meeting all these people. And it's kind of a story about those people living in this kind of apocalyptic world that's going on. So it's kind of like a apocalyptic version of, I don't know, like the Incredible Hulk or that sort of thing from the TV show, where he's always wandering on to the next place because after he's been one place for a while, enough stuff happens that he needs to move on to something else. Maybe not a good comparison, but still, really enjoy it. Really enjoy the art. Rough, starting on point. If you jump on, talk to Dark Nate 40. He reads all of this stuff also. Talk to me, some of us that are reading this stuff, and we can try and fill in the holes for you if you need be. At any rate, fun issue. FPB, Federal Bureau of Physics, or as us old people like to call it, Collider. This is issue number 11, right? Yeah, we're gonna go with 11. Issue number 11. Interesting cover of them cutting into some Sunnyside eggs there. I'm really enjoying this book. The art continues to be amazing in it. Love the style of it. Love this idea of this story. These people, our main characters are in this alternate, their minds are in this alternate reality. Rosa, Adam's partner, has got such a stranglehold on the reality of this alternate reality that they're in that it's actually maintaining a machine. It's keeping them on life support briefly because she's going to accomplish some of her goals and whatnot. And this is all happening. There's other people, there's these kind of, because of Adam's, because it feeds off of your mind and your thoughts, your imagination. He thinks people are out to get him because of his dad's work in early rogue physics. And so he has people chasing him down. And his way of escaping and is pretty awesome. There's a scene here where there's this ravine that has crazy physics going on. You can throw a ball in it, and 4 out of 6 times, 4 out of 10 times you throw the ball in, the ball will come back to you. And the kids kind of use this as like a wishing well. If you wish and your ball goes in and disappears, your wish is true. If you throw it in, it comes back. You don't get your wish, kind of a thing. There's a scene where these guys are out to kill Adam. They're gonna gun him down, and Adam just blindly leaps into this ravine where this physics is going on. I'm sure hoping that he's gonna be one of the ones that lands on the bottom, as opposed to gets teleported to the bottom as being shot back up. But these guys shoot their machine guns down there, and after they shoot their machine guns down there, one of the people, it's kind of a traitor, goes, 4 and 10 come back. And all of a sudden, all these bullets come flying back up and just tear them all to pieces. And they end up killing themselves because of how many bullets went backwards as a forward. It was cool. I enjoyed it. Really enjoyed this book. I still really get a kick out of it. Like I said, I like the dynamic of it. I love the whole idea of this kind of metaphysics and rogue physics and that sort of thing, and kind of being able to bend reality amongst what's going on. So still just really enjoying that book. Another one I'm really enjoying that came out around the same time, Coffin Hill. This is issue number 8. This is the beginning of a new arc, Dark Endeavors. This is really cool because 2 things are going on. We have the current story where we have these 2 girls that were rescued from the last arc, who are hanging around Coffin Hill and the Coffin Estate, and they go inside the Coffin Estate as kind of like a dare, and also because they're kind of witches, and there's this kind of a sense of power here, and a sense of control in doing what they're doing. And I think bad stuff's going to happen to them because there's a bad spirit hanging out at Coffin Hill that's going to really jack with them, I think. The other part that's really interesting is we go back in time, and now we're telling the story of Eve. She's just fresh out of the academy of being to be a police officer, and how she gets involved with the ice killer, and that ultimately ends up making her famous, and the situation that also gets her shot in the head and messes her eye up and all that. We're getting to see that story now. So I'm really liking both parts of it. Both parts are a good play off of each other. Of course, Dave Johnson cover, decent cover. Inside art is amazing. It's so the old Vertigo-esque style kind of book that I just love. The hues of blues and greens that are used, the dark oranges and reds are used sparingly on the right places. I'm loving it because I'm really curious to know what happened back there, and to get us that. Plus, for us, we also get in the current time, Eve is in jail because of the whole other shooting thing that went on and stuff. So there's some, how did she get herself where she's at from when the book first started out? And I'm okay with us going back to that. So I'm really, really curious to see how that all works out. Really, really interesting. Still really enjoying the book. Sixth Gun, issue number 41. We've got 9 issues after this, and this series is done. Another miniseries is going to be coming out kind of attached to it, telling us some back history of some of the other players in this. This issue was interesting, drawn by Tyler Cook, not my favorite artist. He has occasionally filled in on this book in the past. This is kind of a offshoot story to it gives us a history of the Gray, what is she called? The Gray Woman or the Gray Sorcerer? The Gray Witch, as she's called. The Gray Witch. And so we get her history through this, which is interesting to find out her history. And we find out, how Oleander Humes, how he fits into this whole thing later on. So that's interesting. This wasn't that gripping of an issue. Still really enjoy it. I still really enjoy Sixth Gun. I hope people are picking it up in trade because they're obviously not picking it up in singles. But we get a heavy explanation as to why she's tied and why she's hunting the Sixth and what all is going on with that. Yeah, interesting. Looking forward to the next 9 months of this thing, seeing what happens. Does the world get rewritten? What happens to the Sixth? Who gets to rewrite the world if that's what happens? And does anybody actually live out of this thing to have a happy ending? I don't know. Finally, talk about the latest issue of Richard Corbin, translating some Edgar Allan Poe work. In this case, it's Morella and Murders of the Rue Morgue. Of course, Murders of the Rue Morgue is hugely famous. Interesting interpretation on both of these stories. Seems like every time we get one of these stories, more and more Mag the Hag has become a heavy narrator in the thing. There's a lot more tongue-and-joke in both of these, in the translation of both of these things. It's like at the end, Mag the Hag delivers a one-liner, kind of a punchline of the story to make kind of a joke about what's going on. Feels a lot like old DC House of Mystery, where during the time where Kane is our narrator, he comes out at the beginning and introduces some of the stories, then has something to say at the end of the stories, kind of a thing. That same sort of a deal. It feels like it's flirting more and more with Richard Corbin's more underground style type work and his stuff that he did for heavy metal. So we're getting more Richard Corbin in our Edgar Allan Poe. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Neither, in my opinion. I really like Edgar Allan Poe. I'm a big fan of Edgar Allan Poe's work and whatnot. Big fan of Richard Corbin. So in whatever sense that is done in, it's fine with me. I mean, I think there are better translations of these stories than what are here. Still really enjoy this. If you dig Richard Corbin, I think you dig this. Had a conversation with Sleep Reader 666 about this book, about how the art looks a little different. I agree with him. It does look a little different. The coloring's different. There's another Corbin, assuming family member, is credited in here as doing some of the coloring, and I think that changes the look of it a little bit. Never know when more of these are coming out. Still enjoyable. If you haven't been picking these up, you're curious, there is going to be a trade coming out of it in August, I believe, of what's been done so far. There's a pretty decent collection of it. And who knows if we'll see more or not. If they keep making them, I'm going to keep buying them. I like Richard Corbin. It's just nice to see somebody with a different kind of a style. If the man wasn't so old, I would say get him back on a regular running book. Maybe he can be a regular book, but the guy's got to be in his 70s. So I don't know how that how challenging that is. But as long as he's producing work, I'm going to keep picking up. It's just enjoyable stuff. Anyway, that's it for this time. Thanks for watching, for those of you who did. And I will catch you next week, I hope, with some more comics. Have a good one.